very good evening to everyone present here, and I hope all of you are doing great. It's lovely for all of you to be here on this beautiful Friday evening. Welcome to yet another knowledge, information, and fun filled episode of the PSAI Talk Show. Right. Okay. Um, we are here on a Friday evening, and I really appreciate your efforts towards that. Let me know how your day was today or how you feel about being here on today's PSAI Talk Show. Let me know in the comment section. How do you think your Friday is going until today? Until now. Oops. All right. My camera has suddenly decided to play truant. All right. Do we have some comments? Right. I am so glad that. Okay. Krishna says eager to learn, and I am glad that someone finally realized that today happens to be a Wednesday, people. I was testing you guys, and you guys have been very intelligent and alert enough to point that out. Thank you so much. It's great to throw a curveball, once in a while. Something like what my camera is throwing at me at the moment. Give me a second, people. I shall just have that sorted. I have no idea why that is happening, but I did not expect that on this lovely Wednesday evening. Right. Uh, Let me begin by telling. For me, speaking and writing went hand in hand. Right since my teen years, opportunities kept presenting themselves, whether as the charter president of a Leo club or as an armed forces officer, even as a Toastmaster. It is only much later that I realized that I was actually just being an amateur speaker, kind that could be honed into a profession without the right guidance and direction. Incidentally, that is where PSAI came in for me. It taught me how to hone a raw and natural talent in speaking and convert it into a worthy message that people pay a price to listen to. The Professional Speakers Association of India, for all those of us who are new to it and may not know, the PSAI is an association formed to build a strong community to help you enhance your professional speaking and a career in professional speaking globally. The PSAI is part of the Global Speakers Federation, an organization of 14 national speaking associations of 14 countries, which include United States of America, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, United Kingdom, Malaysia, South Africa, and many more. We at PSAI believe that anyone, absolutely anyone, who is an expert in their chosen area of work or has lived a life with many life lessons message with the world. The PSAI Talk Show is a firm step in that very direction. It is a live event that is packed with value and insights for speakers, aspiring speakers, coaches, trainers, and consultants. Before we go ahead, I think a little readjustment is due once again. So I beg your pardon. Give me a moment. Let me see if I can get my camera back on track. I have no idea why that's still happening. All right. Okay. I have changed cameras. I have tried everything possible, but today there is an imposter which has invaded my laptop, and therefore, I guess the show must go on. And therefore, let me now tell you a little about me as a speaker and how I found my niche. Now, I found my niche quite by accident, but when I did, the passion for my subject emanated from deep within. Time and again, I still doubted myself, not so much about my subject or my zeal for it, but who would pay to listen to my message? Or was I good enough? Was I the right person to even speak of it? What if I went wrong or failed to convey my message? I really wish that back then I had the mentorship and the hand holding of the person who happens to be our guest tonight. She is none other than our very own PSAI member from PSAI Bangalore, the president of PSAI Bangalore, in fact, Miss Chimmu Kutty. She is a former banker and she's always been a people's person. And I should know because I have known her for many, many years. I met her for the very first time as a Toastmaster. And for those of you who aren't aware, Chimmu is not just a Toastmaster, she is not just a distinguished Toastmaster, but she has earned the title of Distinguished Toastmaster twice over. That is before she metamorphosed into the confidence multiplier that she is today. Through sheer passion to impact individuals and transform their lives. She was once herself a victim of the imposter syndrome, but she fought it hard and learned through her own trials and tribulations. She's going to talk to us today about exactly that and also share with us some tips, tricks, and techniques that she has devised to help each one of us get rid of this devilish imposter that seats within all of us. As a confidence multiplier, Chimmu focuses primarily on mid level and junior executives and helps them transform and attain their full potential. Chimmu, to me, is also a great friend, a confidant, and guide, and therefore it gives me great pride and immense pleasure to welcome Chimmu on this virtual stage as I quiz her about her journey and how she can help us improve as professional speakers. So, hearty welcome to you, Chimmu.
Thank you very much, Delshad. I so look forward to our talk today.
Me too. I look forward to it too. So why don't we set the tone first by, telling people that you have always been a very confident and articulate speaker, Chimmu. I have always seen you brimming with a lot of confidence. But why don't you tell us if you were always like that, or was there something that changed somewhere? How has been your journey? Tell us a little about that.
All right. So I like to think that I'm always confident, but that's not the case, as we all know. For each of us, we evolve and develop into who we are today through a series of, well, unfortunate incidents, and we learn from them and grow from them. So when I was in school, I thought I could speak very well, but I always held myself back. I did not have the courage to put myself out there, to volunteer to be on stage, to take part in a skit or a debate, because I doubted myself. I didn't have that confidence to do that last mile push. And it went throughout my college days also. And I ended up working in a bank, which means that you have to deal with people whether you feel up to it or not, right? um, every day you meet so many people, so many kinds of people, and so there I can say that I actually developed the knack of speaking to anybody and everybody in all kinds of situations. And I think that's where I started to really see myself as a person who can speak, who can deal with people and think on their feet. So that's when I started to see myself as a person with confidence. Then once I quit the bank, right, I wanted to start speaking or training. I wanted to start a career in training. And that's when the next hit came, because I was like absolutely terrified to speak in front of a group of people. I was totally comfortable behind the safety of a bank counter to speak to any number of hordes of people, because in SBI there are always hordes on any given day, and I was totally feeling safe behind the counter. Coming out of that place and staring at so many people, like I didn't have that kind of courage or confidence it took. And so I should credit Toastmasters for taking me through this journey to discover myself, to overcome my fears. And as a result of which, I became a coach. And I started coaching people in corporate. And I realized that, yeah, we all more or less face the same fears. The fear of not, showing up as the best that we are, which is what holds us back. So this is how I developed a series of methods which help my clients actually overcome their fears and able to present themselves in a much better light with confidence. And that's how I became the confidence multiplier.
Amazing, amazing, Chimmu. That's fantastic. So that gives us a lot of hope, because you've not always been the confident person. You have evolved on your own. You've evolved through your own journey. That really gives hope and a lot of courage to others who, like you, would want to become speakers, do have a message to share but are not there yet. And in case I'm sure some of you have noticed already that the imposter syndrome is actually very afraid of Chimmu, because my camera was flickering before and then Chimmu came on stage and it stopped. So there definitely is something right there for you. Speaking of which, Chibu, we spoke of confidence and how it took you a while to gradually develop that. So let's start with the very basics. And why don't you tell us what is your definition of confidence? What exactly should we look? How should we look at confidence? What is confidence?
It's a great question, Delshad, one which I spent more than 20 years figuring it out myself. So, when you're young, right, in our teens and 20s, we always worry what will other people say. And I worried about that quite a bit. And I stopped doing many things just because I worried what other people would say. And I put myself into a mold which I thought society expected of me, as most of us do. We should do like this, we
Right.
should be like this. So, and I stopped myself from doing so many things. A simple thing is to ride a motorcycle. I stopped myself from doing that because I thought, what will other people say? And it stopped me for so many years till I realized in my 30s that really, should I worry about what other people say? And then I hit my 40s and I say, who cares what other people said? And it's true, right? When you really think about it, other people are not thinking of you that much. What they say or what they don't say, it really is not going to affect your life. Your life is affected only by the decisions that you take. Is it right for you? So I had to arrive at this through all these experiences, of these small experiences. I wanted to, as a simple thing, wanting to wear Western wear. I stopped myself for so long thinking, what will other people say? What will I look like? Will people laugh at me? I was so worried about all the external factors, not thinking whether I want to do what I want to do. And then one day you come to a realization that whether you do or don't, people are going to speak, and then people are going to comment. And then how long does it do you live in their minds? Hardly a few seconds, which is what I realized. Most of the time we are all so much taken up with our lives, our pains, our challenges. We hardly, other people are just hovering around our periphery, and we just spare
True.
few thoughts for them. When I came to that realization, then I thought, why am I holding myself back? Why did I stop myself from doing so many things on the fear of what other people will say?
Other
Because it's not going to affect my life at all. So that is one realization which I had to work through and took me quite some time. And that is how I came to this conclusion that we need to do. Whether you do or you don't, people are going to say. So fine, let them say, no problem. But it's your life, it's your choice.
true. So I have been through a similar journey, Chimmu. I think all of us, almost all of us have. We spend moments and uh, minutes and hours sometimes worrying about what is the other person thinking of me, what would my relatives think of me, friends think of me, and then suddenly you realize that if you do even their thinking for them, then what are they going to do? So just leave it to them to think whatever they have to think. Like you rightly said, they will think what they have to any which ways. So might as well go ahead and do what you wish to. Now, speaking of doing what we wish to, this is a question regarding speakers. Now, since all of us are speakers here, I'm sure you would agree that, especially when we are starting off, we get these queasy feelings in our gut. Why would anyone pay to listen to me speak? Why do we almost universally go through this feeling? I think I speak for most of us present here as speakers when I say that at some point or the other we've questioned ourselves as to, do we really are we really good enough? Will someone really pay to listen to us talk about our message? So why is it that this happens to you?
Yes, that's a very good question, Dilshad, and a very valid point, because all of us go through it, and it has a label also. It's called imposter syndrome, as you would no doubt be aware. It's the point where we don't believe in ourselves enough to know whether we can be marketable as a person or a message, whether it is going to be marketable or it's going to be of value to others or not. I also went through this same thing. When I arrived at my niche, saying the confidence multiplier, I thought, who will want to hear me talk about this? This is what I do when I interact with people and I coach them. This is what I do at a very basic level. I build up their confidence. And but I thought, who will want this? Who needs this? Why will they pay? What do I have to share that people want to hear? And I'm sure many of us stepping out as speakers and coaches, consultants would have the same thought. But the way I look at it is, I can only share my experience. I don't have
Right.
PhD in confidence from the degree as a degree, but I do have a PhD in confidence from my experience. And what I can share is my own. So let me just share one quote for you from Peter Sage. He says,
Sure.
two men sat behind bars. Two men sat behind bars. One saw mud, the other saw stars. So it is how you look at what you have that makes the
Right.
difference. If you think your experience, your message is not worth anything, you will always be looking at mud. But if you feel that yes, my experience, my distillation of my wisdom can help at least one person who is on the path behind me, then I will see stars. So that
Amazing.
is how
That's
I overcame my imposter syndrome.
that's wonderful. Now, since you mentioned imposter syndrome, I would like you to elaborate a little. Are there different types or characteristics that we can help identify the imposter syndrome with?
Yes. So, how does imposter syndrome set in first? Okay. From my experience coaching people, I have found that if we are having a perfectionist mentality, like whatever I do should be perfect. Like when I am cooking at home, my or everything is perfect. When I am writing an article, it's so good, it's so deep. When I am doing my professional work in my organization, it is recognized by everybody. Suddenly, when I have to come out by myself as a brand and share my message, if I feel it's not perfect, I feel that like a fraud. I feel people will know that I'm just saying something. So that is the fraud. The imposter syndrome comes in at that time. Another way that we can identify it is in our society, right? We tend to recognize only the achievements. You in our families also we tell our children you need to get high marks. I mean, there's no option other than getting high marks. So we are not getting marks in the real world, right? We are coming out and setting ourselves up as an authority. So who is going to validate that authority? Unless somebody external validates it for me, I don't feel that I have the authority to speak about it, and that also generates an imposter syndrome. So these are a few things which we can see in ourselves. Uh,
Right.
in executives and corporates, where I realized is those people when we are in college, right? All those freshers and all, they are all ranked and they are lauded for their marks and how they study. The minute you come into the workplace, the person who got 40% and the person who got 90% are on the same level. You are not lauded for being a bookworm. So the guy who got 40% may be more, enthusiastic and curious and learning and may do better in learning new things at the workplace. While the guy who got 90% may flounder. He may take more time to learn, and this makes him doubt himself because he needs to reset his image of himself as a person
Right.
who is not judged by his marks. So
Correct. Right.
what are we judged by? That is also part of why we develop this imposter syndrome.
Okay. Thanks for that clarity, Chimmu, because I think all of us at some point of time or the other have experienced it. So now, having understood what imposter syndrome is, let's come to the meat of the matter. How do we actually get over it? Since we all go through it, and it's a given fact, whether as speakers, whether as executives, whether in leadership roles, at some point in time, we all experience it. So, what can we do, or some tips or tricks to get over this imposter syndrome?
Yes, there are ways to get over it, and I will share a couple of them. So, the first thing that all of us need to realize is when somebody tells you that you are good at something, accept it, because it's very difficult for a person to give a compliment to another person, and unless it's true and genuine you will know it, right? So if you feel it's true and genuine, accept it that you do have that trait in you. You may be a good speaker, a good researcher, whatever it is. So the first thing you need to do is accept the good points that others say of you, because that's how you appear to them. So that is one way of validating that you are indeed an authority, or you have a lot of information on your topic. That is one. The second thing is when you speak to yourself, right? Be very, very positive. Be very nice to yourself. See, when you listen to us speaking to ourselves, we are so harsh on ourselves. We hold ourselves up to impossibly high, standards. So that also brings down our self belief in ourselves, and we feel, oh God, if my own self, if I'm not able to believe that I am so good, how can others believe it? So that is the second thing to do is be very kind to yourself. Give yourself lots of praise, because if you don't support yourself, who will? You have to be batting on your side. You are your cheerleader. Make sure that you do that, because if you don't build yourself from the inside, what you show on the outside will be the same, whatever you have inside. How you present yourself outside is how you see yourself inside. Then the third thing is when you get into a new field, maybe speaking is a new field for you, but you're already been in the field of coaching and you know your subject very well. When we put ourselves out there, right, we feel very vulnerable and we feel exposed. We feel open to criticism and we expect the criticism. But I would suggest when you go out there with whatever you have, and remember, you will present as you are only, you cannot present as someone else. Your wisdom, your tips come through your experience, and that nobody else has. Even if two people go to the same school, are working at the same place, their experiences are different. The spin that you put on it is different, the way you think is different. So, nobody has your experiences. What you have is unique to you. So remember that. So when you go out there and put yourself out there in the limelight and want to share your pearls of wisdom, remember that is very valuable to you, but that also it will help someone else. That's why you're going and doing that. You want to help other people who are coming on the same path as you. You may not be on the same level as, say, Tony Robbins, but the person coming behind you, right, will definitely look up to you, and your message will have value for that person. So these are the things that you can do to help you to overcome your imposter syndrome.
I absolutely love that, Chimmu, and that's been my motivation as well. It's not for the person in front, but the person behind you that you need to get your message out there. So I mean that was fantastic. That was really really valuable. Now, this question is not really for us speakers, but I have seen it affect confidence in a lot of other people. So, in today's day and age, most of us are always addicted to technology. We are always on the phone or our tabs or some technology in some form or other. Now, our innate ability to connect with people, to be a people's person, greatly diminishes because of that. Because although we say we are connected to the world, we find it difficult to be connected to the person next to us. So, what do you think of that? And if it has, how exactly as speakers should we be connecting better? I mean, if technology is bringing us closer, it's also bringing us further apart from the ones we love, the ones who are actually physically close to us. So, as speakers, how do you think we can avoid the pitfalls of technology yet connect better with people?
Yeah, so that's a very deep and profound question. So let me give you my take on it because that's all I can do. Okay, so luckily for us, COVID is now winding down. There are more opportunities to speak face to face. So that will give us a chance to actually connect to the audience in front of us in person. That is one way. And unfortunately, today the world is ruled by social media. How many followers you have, how many people are listening to this talk show, how many comments are coming, right? We feel validated through all these things. Again, it's the basic point that we come to validation. So if I don't have that many followers, I feel maybe my message is not valuable enough, and I'm no need to go further in the line of speaking. So remember that you don't need anyone to validate you as a speaker. As long as you believe that your message has value, that is one. If you are able to connect to even one person who shared that because I listened to you, I was able to make a change which helped me in my life, then that is all the validation that you need from the outside. Now, to connect with people, my take would be share your information through all the aspects of social media which you are comfortable with, like YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, whatever it is. Share your valuable knowledge. If you share your knowledge and it helps more people, that way they will feel that you are a real person with real struggles and they are able to connect with you. So in this way we can build up a connect using social media and its advantages.
That's really brilliant. So use social media to our advantage. Correct. That would be the message. Instead of us getting addicted to it, instead of us getting addicted to the validation, I think just use it to get your message out there to impact as many people as you possibly can. That's wonderful. Thanks for the share, Chimmu. Uh, Finally, Chimmu, now that we've spoken about imposter syndrome, you've given us tips and tricks. Can you give us like a very quick cheat sheet, just a few very doable, very immediately implementable steps that we can all work towards to keep our confidence and Josh always on a high?
Okay. So, what is the reason that confidence lowers? Okay, let's discuss that first. So our confidence becomes low when we don't believe what we are about to do, when we don't believe in our capability, in our ability, and we don't believe that we can do that. So our self belief lowers, and which is what lowers our confidence. How can we immediately increase our self belief? So think of what you want to do. Think of who you are. You are the sum total of all the experiences which you have had throughout your life, and you are not a full stop, right? You are a part of a continuum. You are still going to be evolving. So if you feel, okay, I cannot speak as well today, maybe I should not just start out as a speaker. But think about this. You are here today because of all the practice that you did as a speaker, but you can go forward in that line and become better as a speaker. So you should think about it like that. Whoever I am today, I am always evolving. So I'm not a full stop. So I need not say that, okay, I can give up or I can stop. I need not believe in myself. When you start learning to ride a cycle, after the first day, you may not get the balance. And you'll say, enough. No, oh my God, I learned cycling, but I did not get it. You don't give up like that, right? You go back next
Correct.
day. You are part of the journey is to learn and fall and get up. As long as we understand that, it will help us to build up our self belief and confidence. That is one. Another, like I said, and I can't repeat it often enough, is the way we speak to ourselves. Our self talk is so, so, so important. Just keep an eye out, or rather, a ear out for the way you speak to yourself. It will make a world of difference. Other things which I can suggest are doing affirmations in the morning and in the evening. In the morning, you write about what you want to go well, like a self fulfilling prophecy. And in the evening, you congratulate yourself on the things that did go well. So, this way, you build up your self confidence. Then, I can also suggest one technique which is very useful for speakers. Practice in front of a mirror. Look at yourself and practice. Tell yourself how good you are, how wonderful you are. It's between you and yourself, right? You can praise yourself however much you want. Remember, whatever you say is true. So there you have it. Your self belief, your self confidence will increase. These are a few things which you can do every day. It doesn't take much time.
I have absolutely taken notes of all of these, Chimmu. And I really liked the fact that compliment yourself, say whatever it is you want to say, because it's you and you in front of the mirror, right? And you can give yourself as many compliments as possible. It's just between you and the mirror, and that really boosts up confidence. I really like the point about congratulate yourself at the end of the day. That really struck a chord with me. Similarly, all of you in the audience, please give us your questions, comments, anything that you would like to quiz Chimmu about, or even if you have a point that you'd like to make, please put in your comments and we would gladly take them. Uh, you have enough time. We shall move on to the rapid fire. But while I am quizzing Chimmu on the rapid fire, please feel free to add your comments or questions and we shall take them at the end of the rapid fire. Is that fine with you, Chimmu?
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure.
Yeah, all right. So, all set for the rapid fire. Now, this I'm sure comes as a surprise. So, a rapid fire is something that we do traditionally as part of the PSAI Talk Show. It comes to the speaker as a complete surprise. We don't tell the speaker what questions will be asked. You have split seconds to answer. And I have kept your rapid fire deliberately simple, just giving you two choices. You have to pick one, right? So, all set?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, first question, beaches or mountains?
Beaches.
Okay. So, you're a water person.
That was so fast, right? Rapid. Okay.
That's great. That's exactly the speed you've got to maintain. So people remember all of you who are either at Chopati like me, or in the Maldives or Mauritius or wherever it is you are. Chimmu likes beaches. Okay. Next one, plants or animals?
Plants.
Plants. Okay. I thought you would say animals, but that's okay. So you're a plants person. All right. Chimmu the author or Chimmu the speaker?
Hmm. Chimmu, the speaker, who's an author.
Quick. Oh, Chimmu the speaker who's an author. All right, that's a good way of putting it. Okay. Chimmu the studious geek or Chimmu the mischievous backbencher?
Backbencher always, and not mischievous. I have to sleep through.
Really? Oh,
put
but
me in a
that's so
class and
boring. I
sleep.
mean, why be a backbencher if you're just going to sleep through it? Might as well sleep on the first bench. No.
See, the other things are all edited, so
Okay. Okay. So one, I didn't take you for a backbencher, but you're definitely not the mischievous types. All right, got it. So Chimmu the trainer, Chimmu the idealist, or Chimmu the practicalist?
the idealist. I
The
always,
idealist.
always see the good in people, and many times, I have been fooled also because people take advantage of my. I can't say naivety because I always feel that you're the showing me your best side. I always believe in the good, the best of people.
The good in people. Always believe
Yes,
in the good in people. All right. Okay. Chimmu the extrovert or Chimmu the introvert?
I would say 70% extrovert.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So I'm
And
happy to be by
25%
myself
introvert.
also. Yes.
Ah, that's really nice. Being by yourself is such a wonderful pleasure, right? Being alone and not being lonely. That's something we should all aspire for. So, fiction or self help?
Self help. Any day.
Okay. You don't like fiction, Timo?
I love fiction. But if you
Okay,
give me the
but
option, I'll take self help.
self help. All right. Okay. So, doer or procrastinator?
Procrastinator.
You really, as the
Otherwise, I'd
confident
have done so many
multiplier,
things, no, by now.
unexpected answer. You can't be saying this, Timu. You can't be saying this at least.
No, no,
Okay,
I'm so confident I'm
procrastinator.
saying it. I'm overcoming my procrastination as we speak. Okay.
Okay, so as an aside to the rapid fire, before we go on to the next one, let me ask you. So, as a procrastinator, how do you actually get over it? Because
Huh.
I'm
So
sure
when
this is something you face with your
yes,
clients as
yes.
well. So, how do
Correct.
you
So
get
I'm
over
also,
yours?
it's a work in progress for me also. So I have, I maintain a bullet journal, as you know, and I keep my focus for the week. I need to do this much this week in this week. So every time I get distracted by the hundreds of other things, I bring myself back. This is my weekly focus. Let me complete it and then I can do the other things. So that's how I try to keep my minimum quota of work so that I'm satisfied I've done something.
So, do you have some kind of reward system for yourself?
Yes, yes. I allow myself to, watch or read or whatever. Uh, what I like
Take a break.
on that day, I may be distracted by something, right? So that would be my reward.
Oh, okay. That's helpful. Thank you. Prepared speech or impromptu speaking?
Okay. Even if it was prepared, I used to speak impromptu only. So I'm a mostly impromptu
Okay.
speaker. If it was a
Okay.
prepared speech, also there would be just points, right? I don't write out the full speech. So I would say impromptu.
Impromptu. Great. That's wonderful. I'm sure that if you hone that skill over a period of time with Toastmasters as well, right? Toastmasters
Yes,
encourages
absolutely.
some form of impromptu speaking, and that again becomes a work in progress for all of us. Wonderful. Uh, Indian wear or Western?
Indian wear. It's
Indian
so
wear. Why?
flattering
Why?
to me. Why? It's so flattering to my shape, I feel. And I'm more comfortable
Okay.
in it mainly. And I have not yet experimented so much in Western wear. So I would say I am more comfortable in Indian wear.
Okay. So that brings me just to again another aside question. Do you think clothes play a role in enhancing our confidence, or are clothes just an add-on, an accessory, and we carry the confidence within us? What do you think?
So clothes are definitely important. If I feel I look well with what I'm wearing, clothes are another layer of our armor in dressing us up in our confidence. So if I feel I'm looking very frumpy, my everything changes. No, my mindset changes, my body language changes, the way I speak changes. But if I feel I'm looking really smart with what I'm wearing today, everything about me, comes out as, oh, I'm smart. I'm ready for the day. So yes, clothes are very important. They're a layer like an armor which you take out. When you go out, that's why you want to be best dressed. When you come on screen, you want to look the best that you are. Yeah, that's the
Right.
reason.
that means knight in shining armor does have a real life and this day and age connotation, right? You have to be your own knight in shining armor. Great. And the last one, Chimmu, the play it safe or Chimmu, the risk taker?
Okay. So most of the time I'm a play it safe because I'm a procrastinator, and then suddenly I get energized and I jump into it with both legs. So I
Okay.
could be both. Yes, I cannot say I'm
There's
either
a
one.
okay. Sorry, Chimmu, go ahead. Finish that. Sorry.
Yes. So I cannot say that I'm either I'm always playing it safe or I'm taking risks, because most of the time I'll play it safe. Suddenly I'll be out there taking all the risks. Then I realize that I'll come back and play it safe.
Okay, so largely you're a play it safe person, but
Right. Let's
with
say
all
that.
your preparation, I think you do venture at times to take a risk
Yes, yes.
sometimes. Okay, but it has to be a very planned and prepared risk, so to say.
I
All
can't
right.
say that. Sometimes I've been known to be very impulsive. So yeah, sometimes just go with the flow. Yeah, that's good.
Brilliant. There's a wonderful question. Yabijan has a question to ask. Is there any quick mental prep which you do before going on to before going onto the stage as a speaker?
Yes, most definitely. I do have this sequence which I do before going on stage. The first thing is I would find a calm space and just close my eyes and breathe and become calm. I'll visualize that my speech is going well, and I know what I'm saying, and I say whatever I know very well, and it's a success. And then only I open my eyes and I'm ready to go on stage and kill it.
So breath and visualization, largely. Right. So Yabijan, I hope that answers your question. Breathing, deep breathing, a lot of breathing before you start, and a lot of visualization. See yourself killing it, and then go kill it. Right.
Yes.
Alka is very impressed, Chimmu, and she says great insights. So thank you very much. Thank you, Alka, for that. All right. So with this, we have come to the end of our talk with our confidence multiplier, Chimmu Kutty. Any more questions? Oh, Purva says that's an interesting point of view, Chimmu. Anything else that you would like to ask Chimmu? We have her for a few more minutes before we can wrap up today's talk show. Self-talk is important. Yes, Alka says self-talk is so important. Very, very true, Alka. It's what we tell ourselves is what we become. You tell yourself positive things, and that's what you become in the long run. Correct?
Absolutely.
Right. So I guess there are no more questions. All right. Yabi says, thank you so much, Chimmu and Delshad. Lots of takeaways. Thank you so much, Yabi Jan. Thank you so very much, Chimmu Kutty, for this wonderful, wonderful confidence building session. You spoke to us about confidence. You spoke to us about the imposter syndrome, which finds it rears its ugly head in all our heads at some point in time or the other. You told us how to get over the imposter syndrome. You gave us a very quick cheat sheet as to what we can do for ourselves in order to be better every day, right? And finally, of course, you played the rapid fire with us before telling us how clothes impact our confidence and why clothes add a layer to our entire armor of confidence that we wear and present to the outside world. It was a great session, Chimmu. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure hosting you and having you on the PSAI Talk Show. Thank you so much, and good
Thank you
night.
very much, Delshad.
Thank
I
you, thank
enjoyed
you.
myself a lot, and I hope that I have been able to share my viewpoint of how to build up to crack the imposter syndrome. Because as speakers, we all face it. We all feel we are not good enough, or our message is not having enough value. But the thing is,
True.
you have value as a person. You and your message are very valuable. Once we think of that, we will be able to overcome the imposter syndrome, just like that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Chimmu. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. So you heard from the confidence multiplier. First and foremost, people, do not worry what others say or think about you. They are going to say things anyway, whether you like it or not, whether you think about it or not, but you are barely there for a fraction in the minds of others. So just go ahead and do what you have to do without worrying about what they are supposed to talk about or worry about. Accept compliments. Be very, very graceful, be very gracious, and be very grateful for those compliments. Accept them, take them in your stride. Do not shun them. When someone's paying you a compliment, it's because they see something worthy in you. Gracefully accept it. Be kind to yourself. Now, this is easier said than done. We are always very harsh and critical of ourselves. We are kinder to others, but very critical on ourselves. So please be kind to yourself, and don't worry about how your message is going to sound to someone else. If it helps just one person, then your message is worth it. Your message, remember, is not for the one in front of you, it is meant for the one who is behind you, who has a little to learn from your message, and therefore that should build up your confidence. That should negate the voices that the imposter in your head keeps popping up and telling you, about, I mean, you're not good enough, or your message is not worth it. If it helps even one person, and if it helps the person behind you, you're there, you're good enough. And finally, of course, you, all of us, are a sum total of our experiences. Everything is a continuum. Just like you learn to ride the bicycle, you learn, you fall, you get up again, you get on the bicycle, keep learning. So also as a speaker, keep learning, people, and be a part of the continuing journey. I don't know if this is a coincidence, Chimmu, and I hope you're watching, but you've exited the screen and look what happened to my camera. The imposter is back. On a final note, journal your daily affirmations and congratulate yourself at the end of the day. Do not forget to reward all your little achievements. Thank you so very much, all of you, for being here on this wonderful Wednesday evening. Thank you so much, Chimmu Kutty, and thank you so much, PSAI, for this opportunity for hosting the Confidence Multiplier. Thank you and good night.